Hey, what's up, guys? Weaver here. We're going to be working on Activity 1.7 Germ Fighter. Here's the deal. You're going to need to download the AIA file, Germ Fighter. I'm going to give you a chance to get to Activity 1.7, Activity 1.7, to download the Germ Fighter AIA. We're going to be designing a game today. Okay? While you're finding that, you can go ahead and upload it into or import it, okay, into your projects. Go ahead and do that. Import it. So if I'm here, you can import it. I already have one. It's going to be the Germ Fighter AIA, and it should look like that. Once you're there, stop. And then we're going to go over some things real quick. Okay, back to game developing. While you're still downloading and importing, I'm going to go over being a game developer, okay? So we need to discuss sprites and variables. So if you were with me last year, we discussed sprites are basically your characters, okay? When we designed and coded video games last year, okay? Sprites are your characters. We're going to talk about variables. You guys should remember a variable is a placeholder in a device's memory that stores a value. So we're going to go over variables real quick. All right, you may not have realized this, but when you guys coded in the Germ Guide app, the measles and the meningitis button, there are variables within those buttons, okay? Within the measles button component, for example, we have these codes here. Measles button text, and it's set to this. Measles button enabled, and it's set to false. Measles button height, and it's set to 50. Okay. Within the measles button component, it can be changed or manipulated within the code. Okay. We had it set as click here for measles description as far as variable. We have enabled to false, and height is 50. Okay. So PLTW explains to you, you can program your code to change these values while the app is running. Therefore, these properties are in a form or are a form of a variable. Okay, so let's track our variables. So we need to be able to trace step by step, or your computer, your coding, should be able to trace the algorithm step by step and record the values of each variable. Okay, for example, we've got x is 0, y is 15, x is x plus 2, and y is y plus x. This is the first step, second step, third step, fourth step. Okay, it says note that each line of code above is called an assignment statement. So in our chart, the first step, x is 0. So we have x is 0 here. The first step didn't give us our y value yet, so that's why this is blank. Okay. The second step said y equal 15. So now we have our y variable. The value is 15. So in our second step, y is 15. X is still 0. Third step, it says x plus 2. X equal x plus 2. Well, so that's going to be 0 plus 2, and it's going to give us 2. Okay. Y is still 15 because that wasn't part of the step. Then the last step says, okay, y equals y plus x. Okay. So x is still 2, but y is now 15 plus 2, giving us 17. Okay, that seems pretty easy. Let's try it out on our own here. First step. Okay, it says X is 5. Okay, next step, X is 12. Next step, X is X plus 1, so it's going to be 12 plus 1, that's going to be 13. Last step, X is 1. That's what the step says, so that's what it is. That's the value. It is set to 1. Okay, this step, it was set to 13. This step is set to 12, and this step is set to 5. Okay, that seems pretty easy. I'm going to clear this. Let's try this. We're going to follow the flow chart. Okay, it says set X to 0. Okay. Sorry, it didn't say set X to 0, Weaver. It says set X to 10. Okay, so X is 10. If I'm using my variable trace chart, X is 10. It didn't give us Y yet, so I'm going to leave that blank. Next step says set Y to 5. This is still going to be 10. This is still 10. And then it says set Y to 5. Okay. Makes sense. Then we move on to our next step, this rhombus here. Is X less than Y? Is X less than Y? Is X less than Y? Well, here's my X. It's 10. My Y is 5. The question is it less than Y? No. It is not less than. Okay, so if I go next step, I'm here, right? I'm following this. No. Well, then Y, X is X times 2. Okay, Y, X times 2. Okay, Y times 2, or sorry, Y equals X times 2. X is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. Okay, got that. That was for Y, so X is still going to be 10. So we just have 10, 20. Good buddy. Then we move on to here. X is 30. Okay, so I'm going to set this to 30. And then this is still 20. Okay? You just have to follow the steps and do exactly what it says. And if it doesn't give you the value for so let's say it didn't give us the value for Y, then that remains blank or the same. You have to follow the step to the T. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so now that we know about variables, let's clear the screen here as far as annotation goes and get my mouse back. Let's just get straight into it, the Germ Fighter game. Are you ready to build a fun game? Well, absolutely. Let's do it. You'll build and develop a game called Germ Fighter. Here are the design requirements. Here are the design requirements. Right here. I'm going to give you a chance to read that. I'm going to pause this and you guys read that on your own, on your computer. Read the design requirements. Okay, we're going to have a white blood cell who's going to be the hero, located at the bottom center of the screen. The player can drag it left or right. We're basically going to build like the old school game that Atari had, which is Pong. Except it's going to be a white blood cell, which is the hero, and then our villain is a germ. So when the game starts, it should move around. The germ should move around the screen and bounce off the top, right, and left edges of the screen. If the germ collides with the white blood cell, the germ should bounce off and the player gets a point added to their score. The win. The player wins the game if the time is up and the germ did not hit the bottom edge of the screen. For a loss, the player loses the game if the germ hits the bottom edge of the screen before the time is up. Okay, so by now you should have the pre-built app into MIT App Inventor, and it should look like this. Okay, so we're going to toggle back and forth. Okay, so I split my screen here. So we should have this open, and I have that in MIT. You should as well. In the designer view, you should see two horizontal arrangements. Okay, I see that. One that contains score and timer. Got it. And sound on. Got it. Okay, so step 4. Connect and deploy the app. I don't need to do that right now. View layer. The canvas component is two-dimensional, touch-sensitive, rectangular panel on which the user can move or can draw and move sprites. You need a canvas for germ fighters because the hero and villain both need to move on the screen. Okay, so switch back to App Inventor and get a drawing and animation drawer. Drawing and animation. From the drawing and animation drawer, learn how to read, Mr. Weaver. So from the drawing and animation drawer, drag a canvas component and drop it between the two horizontal arrangements. Let's see what it looks like. Play that again. Canvas, drop it in between. Okay. All right, canvas, drawing and animation drawer, canvas, and drop it in between. Boom. Got it. You kind of need to look where these blue lines are, but it needs to go in between. Okay, that's what they did, and that's what I did. Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to update the canvas properties. It needs to be just like this. Okay. Oh, hold on. So this part right here, change that. You should have a background red, height 350, width, and fill parent. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, hopefully you got your screen to look like this. Okay. And if you're ever in doubt, go back and check your steps. And then you can look at the GIF that PLTW gave you. Mine looks like this. Okay. Let me be honest, I did make a mistake and I started changing properties on screen 1. It needs to be changed on canvas. Make sure you do that. Maybe you made that same mistake that I did. Okay. So hopefully you got your background color red and your height is 350 pixels and the width is fill parent. Okay, next it says set up a white blood cell sprite. From the drawing and animation drawer, drag an image sprite component and drop it into the bottom center of the canvas, keeping a small distance away from the edge of the canvas. Let's see what they did here. Okay, drawing and animation image sprite. Try that. Let's see here. Image sprite, drag it down here and drop. Okay, got it. Good deal. Let's go back to my PLTW. Rename the image sprite 1 to white blood cell sprite. All camel case, no spaces. So rename is here. I'm going to pause while you're doing that. Then it wants you on the properties. Click the white blood cell sprites picture property and select the white blood cell image. Okay, that's why we had to get the pre-built app, because they have the image in there for us. So I'm going to go to white blood cell. I'm going to find image, picture. Here it is. Picture says none, but I want that to be the white blood cell. And then click OK. Oh, look at that cute little guy. He's so cute. He's the white blood cell. Okay, sounds good. Okay, step 9, it says set up a germ sprite. Drag another image sprite component and drop it into the top center of the canvas, keeping a small distance away from the top edge of the canvas as shown. So let's see what they do. They dropped it at the top, and they didn't drop it like it was on. Maybe they did. I don't know. It's a germ. It's a bad guy, right? It's the villain. Drop it like it's hot and drop it at the top. All right. I pause. You do that and rename it germ sprite. Okay, so hopefully you remember to drop it at the top like it's hot and rename it germ sprite. And also your picture should be the germ PNG. And you get this guy here, this green germ sprite, and you should have a red background and a white blood cell sprite. If you did, give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. Because you're amazing, right? Okay, hold on. All right, it says the app's view layer is ready, which we saw that with the 2 sprites, and the background image is red. And it says the only components left are to add the non-visible components. Okay, so from the media drawer, drag a sound component and drop it into the viewer. Go ahead and do that now. Go to the media. Okay, and drag a sound. Okay, there we go. Step 11, from the sensors drawer, grab a clock and drop it on. Sensors drawer, clock, non-visible, drop it like it's hot. Okay, done. 12. Now we're going to work on the control layer. Okay, so steps 13 and forward. You and a partner are going to start coding this app. Let's go all the way to 23 today. Okay, we're going to go to 23. So you're going to figure out the rest on your own. So starting at the control layer, 13 through 23. All right, Weaver out.